Y'all ready? It's time to talk ball with Spunky Spectrum. Let's ride! Ow. Woke up in the morning, coffee in my hand, another season about to start. I'm the fantasy man, scouting sleepers, crunching numbers late at night, building rosters that gon' shine under them lights. From rookie watch to big revenge, I see it all, stacking points while the league's watching me ball. Best ball drafting, no waivers, just pure skill. I'm taking shots, watch the whole league getting killed. Yeah, the grind don't stop, the picks stay high. When the money's on the line, I connect the dots. We're talking fantasy football, best ball drafting deep. Spunky Spectrum spinning, put a league to sleep. 15 grand on DraftKings, cashed it like a king. Now the whole damn country know I run this thing. Yeehaw, raise them up, another W in the books. Fantasy king, got the trophies and the looks. From the podcast mic to the big check in my hand, this is Spunky Spectrum boys, the fantasy man.
Yo, Big D here, talking all things World Cup. USA getting a dulcet 2-0 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Belgium squeaking past. Senegal and, of course, England. Well, actually, they're not called England now. They're called the Harry Kane, beating DR Congo 2-1 in Atlanta yesterday. Driving Top Productions, Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. Well, you know what? This World Cup keeps getting crazier and crazier with the U.S. winning with 10 men last night in the Bay Area. Belgium squeaking by in extra time, and of course England. So, talking about the U.S. performance last night. It's funny. Usually when a team goes down to 10 men, it's like panic, because when Folarin Balogun was red carded, I think most American soccer football fans would have been thinking back to the 2024 World Cup where Timothy Weah was sent off, and we ended up losing that game to Panama, and then in Costa, the U.S. became the first and only Copa host to lose in the groups, to be eliminated in the group stage. But frankly, the U.S., whether that game was 11v11, 11v10, played better football, more attack-minded football, and frankly, Bosnia did not create enough opportunities. And the U.S. showed the heart, the will, sacrifice, and the grit needed to win. Because every team's going to have one of those games where, they go to extra time, when they're down to 10 men, they have to suffer, scratch, claw, fight. Well, the U.S. fought with relentless energy, but relentless passion, and I think that crowd in Santa Clara last night made a difference. I think most of us knew that the U.S. Bosnia game would be very physical, because Bosnia knew the only chance to win was to be physical, really intimidate Pulisic, McKennie, Folarin Balogun, and make it a scrappy street fight where there'd be a lot of set plays, and Bosnia would get one and maybe just hunker, because most of us knew Bosnia would play that low block. Well, other than one or two moments early, the U.S. largely controlled the game, and in many ways, even though Flo was offside on what could have been, or what looked like a goal, he was clearly off, but the U.S. just kept coming and knew, and I think most of us knew it was only a matter of time to score, and of course it was Flo doing his LeBron celebration, and it was a brilliant goal. I mean, one maybe even better than the goal he scored against Paraguay from a similar angle. But I think the U.S. in general created more opportunities. Whether it was 11v11, 11v10, I thought McKinney was great. I think Serginho Dest, who actually could have played for Holland, played really well. But I think Malik Tillman was my man in the match last night, not just for what he did in the midfield, not just the pass to flow, but really controlling the areas box to box. And I'll talk about the set piece later. Pulisic, he could have. I think it was a little quiet, but Pulisic really came on the last 15 minutes of the game, 15, 20 minutes when we went down a man and really got forward, became a false number 9. And I think that gave Pulisic space because Bosnia were trying for an equalizer, and Pulisic was able to get by to create havoc. I mean, it clearly looked like Bosnia was targeting him. But there were a couple of plays that very easily could have been called, and I'll talk more about what happened in the game. But then in the second half, Bosnia probably complained that this was a foul, but free kick, not quite in the box, but very close to the box. Actually, a tricky angle to get the ball over the wall, dip it, and then beat the keeper. And Malik Tillman, and I remember hearing the broadcast, Stu Holden talking about Malik Tillman could do it. Well, then he beats the keeper, gets the ball over the wall by the goalie. U.S. goes up 2-0. And in this country, anytime the U.S. wins 2-0, we call it 2-0. Every time the U.S. U.S. played Mexico, we beat them 2-0 in our country. It's like 2-0. That's why I put it USA 2-0. So went up, and then US ended up winning the match 2-0. And now we have a play in the round of 16 against Belgium. The US gets its first knockout win since the round 16, 2002 round 16 against Mexico. The U.S. gets its first European win since being Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2021. And I can't confirm this, I think last night was the first time the U.S. beat a European foe at the World Cup since Portugal in the 2002 World Cup, in our 2002 World Cup opener. And that was pre-Cristiano Ronaldo. That's how long he's played. But frankly, for the most part until the last few days, I thought the refereeing was excellent. I thought the refs did a great job handling most of the games. But I don't think the Brazilian Rafael Claus did a great job at all. I mean, he let a lot of stuff go. I mean, there were at least 2 or 3 shirt tugs that could have been yellow cards. That probably, frankly, should have been yellow cards, in my view. And then the first card of the game was more VAR decision. Now, we know VAR, I don't know what it is. But when Balogun goes after the Bosnian player, it's not like he stomps on it. It looked like Bo may have slipped, but it clearly looks like an accident. I mean, a yellow I think would have been fine. But, for whatever reason, the VAR decided, hey, check it out. And then VAR slowed the footage, which slowed the replay, which really isn't supposed to be allowed, and it made the play far worse than it looked. And then the referee decided, you know what, Balogun, you're gone, and now the U.S. played the rest of the game with 10 men. I thought it was an egregious decision. I mean, every pundit, no matter what country, every U.S. fan thought the same. Like, how then the bleep is that a red? I mean, even Mark Lattenberg, the referee and expert for Fox at the World Cup, was befuddled. I mean, I think every pundit, every fan watching that game was thinking, how is that a red? But I think what happens is that the VAR thinks that Balogun committed a serious endangered the safety opponent, excessive force, and thus a red card was issued. Most of us, including yours truly, believe that that it was actually more, if anything, of just a coming together, an accident of play, and if the referee issues a yellow card in that situation, I think that's probably fair. No, no harm, no foul. But in some ways, sometimes the breaks go your way. I mean, Lionel Messi didn't even get a slap on the wrist when he went after the Algerian player in the first game, and yet Messi gets away with a similar, if not probably a worse tackle, and yet Balogun gets a red card. But I think the U.S. was able to handle that moment. I think the hydration break coming when it did in the second half helped because Mauricio Pochettino kept the guys focused. And frankly, the U.S. faced the perfect opponent. If we face Spain, if we face France being down to 10 men, we would have been blown off the pitch. By the way, I think last night was the first time that the U.S. that a player, an American, was sent off. And in that game against Italy, I think 2 men were sent off in 2006. Yeah, a few red cards in that tournament. I think we ended that game with 9 men. Italy finished that game with 10. So crazy how tournaments change. But unlike a lot of teams that go down to 10 men, the U.S. didn't make early substitutions. We played more defensive, but Bosnia and Herzegovina didn't break us down enough. And we had enough athleticism and I think enough brains to handle things. Tyler Adams was big. I mean, there was one play at the end of the first half when Checo flat out takes out Adams. I mean, it clearly looked like the old pick and roll play, or a pick and roll in the NBA, or pick play in the NFL where Checo flat out screens Adams, and I thought Adams was going to be in concussion protocol, but luckily no problem. And Adams was able to continue, and I don't think we can lose him with Rodon being iffy with health. But in many ways, I think what this showed is that no matter what happens, Team 11 finished from 10, teams still have the ability to win. And I think the U.S. showed hard. I mean, we see Premier League teams or the Liga teams down to 10 men. That didn't matter. This U.S. team kept fighting and, frankly, deserved the win. I mean, Bosnia and Herzegovina didn't create enough. But, hopefully VAR isn't looking at every single detail slowly, because we want to see a game decided on the pitch. Nobody wants to see a team down to 10 men on a questionable decision. If it's a red card, if it's like the Uruguay-Spain game where that Uruguay player goes over the edge, then send him to the locker room. But if it's one of those 50-50 decisions, especially at the World Cup, I think it's better to finish 11v11. And maybe if the referee gives yellow cards for those shirt tugs, those fouls earlier, maybe that play doesn't seem as egregious because he's like, that's probably a yellow card. That's probably a yellow card. And then everybody knows, okay, this is what you can get away with, and if you go to here, you're gonna be in the book. But I don't know, it's just annoying now that the US is gonna play the next game and maybe more without Flo Balogun. I mean, from what I am reading from Mark Ogden covering the World Cup for ESPN, it looks like FIFA might, I'm not saying they will, but may upgrade the suspension, which I think is ludicrous because they're going to, I mean, we know FIFA's not exactly the most stable sports organization. I mean, going back to what, the 2002 World Cup, but a couple of their issues involved in South Korea. And then there've been questionable VAR decision, but that's a story for another day. For the next game against Belgium, first off, I'll explain more about Belgium in a little bit. I think Ricardo Pepi's going to start, and he scored a lot of goals in the Dutch league this year. Really good goal score, and this is his chance to shine. Pepe played the second, the third game, and I think in this game, knowing Flo's suspended, Pepe can start and show what he can do. I mean, Flo's been excellent, scoring 3 goals, but Pepe, being the number 9 with what he can do, open up areas for Pulisic, open up areas for McKinney and everyone else. I think Tyler Adams is one guy we can't play without. So, and Mauricio Pochettino, I love the team chemistry with this team. They're all singing John Denver, take me home West Virginia, home country roads. I love that this team's bonding. I love this team. And even after the game, praying. This is a team. Some of these teams don't have the chemistry. Now, I think France may have the chemistry and the talent. But this team has got more chemistry than any U.S. team I've seen in a long time. Because if the 2022 U.S. team would have faced Bosnia and Herzegovina with 10 men, we would have been in trouble. I mean, we couldn't win in 24 against Panama. So, we got away with one. And now can we play Belgium? And by the way, everyone wants to talk about Belgium's golden generation. I think this be former. This is not Belgium's golden generation. I mean, Belgium hasn't won, a Euro World Cup. And frankly, I almost feel sorry for Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, yeah, Belgium's in the last 16 of the World Cup, but they barely beat Senegal, and they needed a late comeback. I mean, Senegal really controlled large sections of the match, up 2-0 at the 85th minute. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne didn't look good. Jeremy Doku didn't look good. Both guys were subbed off before the hour mark. And then, Romelu Lukaku, as he's done so many times for the Red Devils, scores a big goal. And then Telemans, the Belgian captain, even the score, so 30 minutes of extra time. And guess what? Another VAR decision. This one involving a potential penalty. First 3 replays didn't look like a penalty. Then then there was a slow replay that showed, is that a potential penalty? And obviously VAR said to the referee, go look at it. The referee gives Belgium a penalty. To me, that never looked like a penalty because for whatever reason, VAR slowed down the replays in the Belgium game and the US game. I mean, I don't know, but that didn't look like a penalty. But it didn't matter. Tillemans ended up bearing the penalty after seemingly an hour and a half check. Go up 3-2, and of course Belgium won the match 3-2. I thought Senegal played a great 84, 85 minutes, but we know in soccer or football, a 2-0 lead's a dangerous lead. Because if the trailing team comes back, has a deficit, now there's tension. Now the nerves become a bigger part of the game. The pressure becomes intensified. And the other team knows, hey, we've already got one. Let's push for a second, because guess what's the most dangerous time in a match? When you give up another one. And Belgium came back and showed the class that they have. Now, I know what everybody's thinking. What are my thoughts about playing Belgium in round 16? Well, each team's got a negative. Belgium went extra time in Seattle, but the U.S. will be going there without Folarin Balogun. So, I'll say this: Seattle was an incredible host for the U.S. second game against Australia. Hello, lived in, and I think it'll be an even better host on Monday night, because we know Seattle's a football crazy town, whether it be the Seahawks or the U.S. And if there were ever a 12th man, it'd be in Seattle. Oh, you all from Turkey, mate. Oh boy, I wish you all. I be honest with you, I wish you had made the round of 32, because I think you all have more talent. I think your team's got more talent than a few sides playing today. I'd rather have you than Bosnia and Herzegovina, Austria, Algeria. I think Turkey could win a few knockout games, but unfortunately, your team didn't beat the U.S. or Paraguay, despite playing half that game against 10 men. But it's going to be crazy. And of course, the U.S. has got revenge from what happened earlier this year in a friendly, and from what happened 2014 World Cup round of 16, where Tim Howard basically saved the U.S. with like 15 saves, and Chris Wondolowski missed the chance of his career, a chance that would have put the U.S. in the quarterfinal, and we could have raised the U.S. to another level. Instead, we ended up losing the game in extra time to Belgium 2-1. I think that was with Jurgen Klinsmann, yes. And frankly, maybe this country wouldn't have missed the 2018 World Cup in Russia, but that's a story for another day. I'm excited for what the game's going to be, because De Bruyne, Doku, Lukaku, Trossard. I mean, Belgium's got a lot of quality, but I think we have more pace and we have more positivity. I mean, watching Belgium run against New Zealand, and New Zealand's not France. I mean, New Zealand's better known for rugby than soccer. They're better known for the other pitch. And I don't mean baseball, I mean rugby. So, we're going to see what happens on Monday. Monday, it's going to be a good one. And then, jolly old England with a 2-1 win over DR Congo, where Harry Kane does his usual thing and scores a lot of goals for the Three Lions. And frankly, I have a buddy of mine, Alex, who went to the game yesterday, and boy, he saw a good one in the ATL. I mean, DR Congo started the match really, really well, scoring a great goal. I have no idea what Spence was doing there. He fell asleep. I mean, the England back line was all over the place. I mean, Pickford could have done more to save. I mean, people wonder if he's really the best goalkeeper in England, but I think his personality probably wins out over a few. But, Thomas Tuchel, if England would have lost that game, would have faced some major scrutiny over who he picked and who he didn't pick. And, you are from Indonesia. Boy, that's interesting. What's Indonesia's FIFA World Rankings? I think it's, you could all get maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold, maybe Cole Palmer, maybe Matthew Morgan's White. Be better passes, but England didn't really play well. Finally got into the game. I think Jude Bellingham picked up the card early, but there was a moment late in the first half where England could have gotten a penalty. I mean, it was one of those that could have gone either way. VL didn't look at it. Little surprise, or made the referee look at it. Little surprise, but be honest with you, that's one that could have gone either way. I mean, most people said that could have been a penalty, but I don't know if it was the worst call that we've ever seen. But frankly, England needed a better second half, and boy, they got one. I mean, Anthony Gordon and Saka came on, and England became a different team. Anthony Gordon really won the battle against won the Saka. Saka really delivered a couple good crosses. And Harry Kane does what he has done better than anybody in England shirt. Scored goals. Scored one, made it one, and had a wonderful goal from just out around the box, making it 2-1. I mean, Harry Kane's not the fastest guy, not the strongest guy, but he just scores goals. He scored 61 goals this year for Bayern Munich. 61. That's crazy. I mean, Harry Kane's in his early mid-30s. You wonder how long can he keep doing? Well, you know what? Maybe Harry Kane, Robin Lewandowski, these guys could play score until the 50. And I think what Kane does, he's always in the right position. He'll drop back and help be a true nine. But he's also realized, I can be somewhere in the box. The guys, whether it be Saka, Gordon, or his teammates delivering the ball, and Kane's always there to finish. I mean, Kane's always there. I mean, big goals against Croatia, big goals in the 2018 World Cup or 22. You know what? Sometimes, not a moment of majesty, just a moment of pure class. And I think that's what Harry Kane is. England's best goal scorer. And, England needing that win, probably a little closer than one. But now England will face Mexico at the Estadio Azteca. And let me tell you this will be by no means an easy game for England. Because England's going to play at 7,300 feet. Mexico's going to have a huge home crowd at the Azteca. And England are probably the one team that's the least equipped for altitude. So we'll see what happens. By the way, England's last World Cup game at the Azteca, that'd be Diego Maradona's Hand of God from 1986. So England's going into that game with less rest, demons. There might be people from Altria waking up the England players in the middle of the night. Hopefully that's not really an issue. shoot, but I hope the England players have earbuds because they might need them. And Mexico's been great at this World Cup, not just scoring goals, but Mexico and Spain haven't conceded a goal yet. Yeah, and playing Mexico at altitude will be very, very difficult. But you could say this for Mexico. Now we get to see whether this side's a real challenger at the World Cup, or is this just a team that's beating lousier opponents at home? Because because now Mexico gets to face Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, and everybody for England. So, I said Netherlands from Morocco beat the round 32 game. I think Mexico for England will be one of the best round 16 games. I think Spain versus Portugal could be, depending on what happens today. Spain, Austria at 3, Portugal, Croatia at 7, Algeria versus Switzerland at 11 tonight. So, by the way, the U.S. starters have only allowed one goal. I'm not even looking at that third game. The U.S. starting backline's only allowed one goal in 270 minutes. Not bad. Hopefully we can keep that going against Belgium because I like our chances of scoring. And this has been a great World Cup. I love all the fans supporting this country. And I think what hockey showed at the Olympics for nation, what these guys are doing on the pitch, you know what? This country loves sports. I mean, they're 200. Wait a minute. The country, our country's going to be 250 years old in a couple of days. And by golly, when you look back, 250 years from now, hopefully they're all people. Hopefully, people remember the 2026 World Cup because this has been so much fun seeing all the games. Seeing how England will fare at Azteca is going to be one for itself, and then of course the U.S. playing our next game in Seattle on Monday night. But you know what? As Toby Keith would say, courtesy of the red, white, and blue. All brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Thank you. So this is the Big D signing off for Dylan's History of Sports Dose of Zero. The U.S. recap. U.S. beating Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0. Belgium, England, and more. So Big D signing off for now.